my goodness. Yeah?
Just copying you.
Fuck you, don't copy me. I'm too handsome for that. Nice smile at him, but he's not looking at me.
Cut that.
I was on my way back home. The cries of the Higurashi accentuated the already lonely evening. More time had passed than I thought. The orange of the dusty sky was being chased down, little by little, by an indigo color approaching from the east. Remember when she said don't be back, or be back before sundown? Mm-hmm. Exhausted from the slow climb towards Hinamizawa, without even noticing, I'd gotten off my bicycle and was pushing it uphill. Muh. I don't understand any of this. I thought that was gonna keep playing. Did you hear like the... You're a good girl. Love your mama. She's a good girl. Babe falling down. And I'm free.
I'm cutting this.
Free falling. Tell me it doesn't sound the same. Now it doesn't. But when it chimed those couple of times, I think you're just mad you didn't think of it first. I don't understand any of this. No one had told me to my face that I'd done something wrong. This is a good fucking track.
It is a good track.
No, in fact, it might have been much easier on me that way. This is as good as the trumpet one, where it's like doing the whole thing.
It might be
it's on that
to
too.
like put in the fixed ones.
What happened yesterday really was just my curiosity. The broken ones sound way better.
Okay.
It really was no more than a quiet prank. No more than having the courage to cross at a red light as long as you did it with other people. The storehouse for ritual implements, hallowed ground.
Hey, Sadako.
Only accessible to the family of the priest. Yo, I didn't know Sadako is in the scene. Right, for sure. I'd seen terrifying things that I'd never imagined would be there. Thinking on it now, though, it didn't matter what was stored away inside. It didn't make the wrong I had committed any more right. Keiichi did breaking and entering and is acting like he killed someone.
Guess what? That's what everybody's been telling him. He's been done basically. It's like how they're all reacting to it.
That's true. What the four of us did, Mion seemed to know about it. For some reason, even the police were trying to learn what the four of us did. It's not even like they incriminated the Sonozaki family. So it's not even like this disrupts any of their fucking mob shit. Did we do something bad? Really? It doesn't matter how wrong it was. I did something wrong. It was nothing more than that, and yet, I couldn't accept it. I didn't apologize to Mion or Oishi-san. All I did was shield myself with ambiguities. I did something wrong yesterday. I set foot into a forbidden storehouse for a little bit of mischief. I'll forget everything I saw in there. I won't ever do something like that again, either. I'm sorry. If I apologize like that, would they forgive me?
Here it is again. Motif.
That's Rena. When he slammed her fingers in the car door.
Mm-hmm.
I slammed Rena's fingers in the car door. You slammed
the fingers in the car door. I slammed my penis in the car door.
You slammed your penis in the car door. I fucking love that video so much. The sudden cool evening air left no room for such sentiment. This is a bomb fucking track, holy shit. However, as it mercilessly chilled my feet, urging me to head home as soon as possible. In the end, the evening air was correct. If I trudged along such an isolated road, regrets would pile on top of regrets, but nothing would change. Let's go home. I'll go home, go to my room, and put on my favorite music or something and go to bed. That might sound plain and boring, but it's probably the strongest I've felt all day. Oh! Now that I've made a decision, there's no point in dawdling in a place like this.
Why did you make that sound?
So I was thinking of Oishi. Oh, my Abara-san. Now that I've made the decision, there's no point in dawdling in a place like this.
Dawdling.
I sat back on my bike. I pushed hard on the pedals. I rapidly advanced forward. I steadily gained speed. The wind was cutting and mercilessly cold, but it actually felt good, as if it were softly punishing me. Yes, punish me harder, wind.
Cutting that.
No! You're gonna keep one of these in. You're gonna forget about it. I didn't eat much dinner before excusing myself early and returning to my bedroom. You know who's gonna call him, right? My mom called me from downstairs.
Keiichi, you have a call.
There it is.
It's from Sonozaki-san.
Sonozaki? The mob family? Was it Mion? No, it was Shion. I just remembered. She had something she wanted to tell me today. Oishi-san had interrupted us, so she didn't get the chance. Shion had said she'd call tonight. You know what I'm really excited for? Bring, bring. He picks up the phone.
My bottle-san.
No. I was thinking more along the lines of, oh, hey, it's Shion. So, Keiichi, were you with Tomatake Flash and Takano-san last night? Hello? Is that you, Shion? Ah, fabulous. Hello, we ran into a bit of trouble today, didn't we? She said it so plainly that I got a bit annoyed. What? She was the one who left me there and ran. Don't say that. Oh shit. Don't say that. I gave you the signal to run away with me, didn't I? You just sat there looking dazed, Kei-chan. I wasn't dazed. All of a sudden you left me there, and after that, I had to put up with that Oishi guy for ages. You know what he could have done? He could have been like, oh, Shion, let me walk you to work. And then they could have left, because she probably wasn't even going to work. Keiichi's retarded.
Yep.
Don't complain to me about it. I can't believe she passed it off like that. She looks just like Mion, and yet inside, she's this different? I got a little irritated at myself when I realized, somewhere in my mind, hoping for the same reaction I would get from Mion, even though she's a different person. There it is. Sorry. Next time I'll run away first thing and leave you there. Hey, it's ladies first. Shion laughed refreshingly. When I heard her voice, I realized that she wasn't really that angry or anything. It was just as she said. The cause of my temper was because it was my own fault for not leaving immediately. I'll stop blaming it on others. Blaming it on others would be cringe. Anyway, you had something to tell me, right? Oh yeah. I mean, if you already know, then it's not something that bears repeating. Do you already know? Shion lowered her voice suddenly as if she were glancing around. I had no idea what I could already know. Sorry, but I have no clue what you're talking about. At least give me a hint. So that means you don't know. She seemed to take my stupid-sounding question as evidence. However, her voice didn't sound disappointed or exasperated in the slightest. Actually, it's about last night. Oh, yeah. Actually, it's about last night, during the Watanagashi festival. Is she really gonna ask this dumb bitch what I think she's gonna ask him? My entire body jolted as I was assailed by a terrible feeling. Is Shion going to ask me the same thing? Hello? Kei-chan, are you listening? Yeah, I am. What about last night? The four of us went in there, right? She didn't beat around the bush. Whether or not I wanted to admit it, that was the actual honest truth, and I couldn't act like it hadn't happened. Then after, we all walked away together, and then went our separate ways near the stone stairs, right?
Takano-san and Toмотake Flash went to the stream, and you stayed there, Kei-chan. I went over to see some relatives.
Yeah. Why do you ask?
We won't make any progress if we keep asking each other questions. So let me ask this question first. Okay.
Good job, Shion. Thanks. That
You
makes
mean
a lot of sense.
it does? Did I see Toмотake Flash and Takano-san last night?
Huh? Oh, yes. Did you see the two of them after that?
I'd be lying if I said I wasn't surprised.
Fuck you, Baltimore! If you're dumb enough to buy
This is the third time I've been asked this question today. Why? Why? What the hell was going on? Why? Why are you asking me that?
No, Kei-chan. I'm asking the question. Please answer me.
Did you, Shion? Kei-chan avoids the question. If you answer first, then I'll answer. I thought there was going to be another word. And my shabby response betrayed how scared and small I felt now, after everything that had happened today. Shion didn't say anything for a few moments. Just as I was beginning to think I'd really put my foot in my mouth with that response, she finally answered me.
Of course I didn't see them. My relatives were with me, and they can vouch for that.
I didn't see them either. People can vouch for me too, like Mion, Renan, and everyone else. Now that we knew our answers matched, she let out a sigh that sounded more relieved than anything else.
Thank you for answering me honestly. Okay, then I'll tell you.
Was it so hard for Keiichi to answer either Mion or Oishi the same way? Because I didn't realize Oishi and Mion probably saw them in front of the storehouse. Or Mion saw them when Oishi saw them when they were out of the storehouse on the stone stairs, right? So, like, they were already out of the storehouse. Why not just say you were there with them?
He doesn't want them to think they went into the storehouse, I guess.
Oh shit, I accidentally hit enter. Which one is it? There we go. Yeah, like... But they wouldn't have any way of knowing that they went in the storehouse, right? I mean, yeah, blah, 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 whatever. But just by seeing them on the stone stairs does not immediately put them in the storehouse. So you're just like, yeah, we met up a little bit and like fucked around in the woods for a bit.
Yeah, but that's not what Keiichi does, so it's like...
I know, but it makes me laugh every time. Apparently, Takano-san and Toмотake Flash died. So that was her in the oil drum.
Well, I guess.
I'm assuming. Sorry, Shion. What was that you just said?
Apparently, last night, Takano-san and Toмотake Flash died.
I told you.
Takano-san was found burned to death. Toмотake Flash was, well, it looked like a suicide. I found out this morning. I heard my dad talking to a relative on the phone about it.
Such a good sound effect there. That was...
It really is. Late last night, a police car on its way back from the festival security duty had discovered Toмотake Flash lying in the middle of the road headed towards Okinomiya. He had clawed out his own throat and died. Okay, so that in Onikakushi, that would mean Takano was demoned away. Because everyone talked about how Takano was demoned away in Onikakushi, right?
I guess, I don't remember.
Because she went missing, Toмотake Flash was found dead. Because they didn't find Takano in Onikakushi.
All we heard about Takano was the ladies talking about her in the hospital.
Well, they talked about
like,
how the lady with Toмотake Flash went missing.
Okay.
Who at the time was just a lady, but we now know it's Takano, blah, 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 whatever.
Right.
So, because they talked about how Toмотake Flash was the one that was killed, and then Takano went missing. So, she was the one that got Onikakushi, basically.
Sure.
So this leads me to believe if she was found burned to death in an oil drum, you can look at it two ways. One, all the people that get Onikakushi'd are used for like the weird cannibalism rituals and like cannibalized, right? Or two, well, really 3. 2, anyone that's demoned away is also killed. 3, Takano was actually killed and Tomitake Flash was demoned away. But they only found him coincidentally.
So, okay.
That's like the 3 ways you can look at that.
So you think this is new to Watanagashi, or do you think this happened in Onikakushi?
No, I think this happened on Kikuchi.
That she was burned in an oil drum?
Yeah, I don't think this is new, because Tomitake Flash died the same way.
Yep.
It's the same 2 people that went missing. So I see no reason why like it would be any different.
Okay.
It's like if you break it down to like a branching story, whatever, Tomitake and Takano going missing and dying is like a core element that's across. Interesting.
What? He clawed out his own throat? That bright, cheerful Tomitake Flash committed suicide? That can't possibly be right.
The police did an autopsy. He did it with his own fingernails. He scratched his throat so hard that he ruptured his blood vessels and bled out. He died in a pool of his own blood. That's what they said.
I've never heard of such an insane suicide. You can't just scratch open your own throat like that. I realized I was yelling too loudly, so I lowered the force. I lowered the force I was putting into my voice. I didn't want my parents to hear me, so I switched to the cordless phone and ran up to my own room. Sorry for yelling. So, was Takano-san, was that a suicide too?
In her case, it's a little unclear.
Takano-san's body was found in the mountains of the Gifu prefecture.
Is that where he runs and gets beat up by the guys?
No, Gifu is very far away.
Okay.
It's a whole prefecture away.
Okay.
Employees at the rest stop nearby reported to the police late that night that they could see flames in the mountains.
So Gifu, you know the big part in the middle of Japan?
Yeah.
It's kind of left of Tokyo.
Uh-huh.
Like closer to Osaka. It's like Osaka's here, Gifu's here, Tokyo's over here.
Yeah.
So that's where Gifu is.
Mm-hmm.
And so if this is Gifu, Hinamizawa is probably like right here.
Okay. So it's a decent ways away.
The firefighters dispatched there were the first ones to find her. An autopsy concluded that it was a burned corpse of a half-naked female. They initially considered the body beyond recognition, but directly after there was a request for a dental comparison from the XX Prefectural Police Station Okinomiya.
So yeah, so Okinomiya is in a different prefecture than Gifu.
And the results concluded that it was Mio?
Yeah.
Mio Takano. The cause of death wasn't confirmed, but it was highly likely to have been a homicide, since she was in her undergarments and her clothes were nowhere in the area.
The oil drum had fallen over, so it's also possible she burned herself to death.
It couldn't possibly have been suicide. If you're going to die, there are plenty of easier ways, aren't there? This can't be suicide.
That's what I think. It's unthinkable that Tomitake Flash would kill himself too.
After the two of us rattled on at each other, there was a silence as we paused to catch our breaths. And as we calmed our nerves. Right then, I understood what Shion's story actually meant.
I think it will end up being Oyashiro-sama's curse. We all did more than enough to deserve it, after all.
Deserve? You've got to be kidding. It's not like Shion wanted to see it with me. I just went along with her. I tried to say that, but I fell silent. Nothing would come of me blaming others. It didn't matter how much everyone else encouraged me. I could have put my foot down. I lost to my own half-assed sense of adventure and agreed to go in with them. Yes, it was my fault and no one else's. Shion, last night when we snuck into the ritual storehouse, did you predict things would turn out this way?
That does disprove what I said earlier at the very start.
What's that?
Where if you hear the funny kid jumping up and down, you're going to die.
And then because
I mean, but...
Keiichi and Mion didn't hear it, they weren't going to die?
Yeah, but you could also spin it this way. No, because it was Tomatake that heard it. You could spin it where if you hear it, you get demoned away. We call that grasping at straws.
Of course not. I mean, I thought it was pretty risky, but I never even dreamed something like this could happen.
Shion's words were probably her true feelings. Why wouldn't they be? She knew she could get in trouble if we were caught. But that was the thrill of this little adventure. It was the same for me.
Besides that, Kei-chan, think about it for a moment. Didn't Hoyoshiro-sama's curse turn out a little strange this year?
It was already plenty strange seeing as how Tomatake Flash and Takano-san died like that. Given all that, what could possibly be stranger?
I mean that they found 2 corpses. Remember what I said? Every other year, one person would die and one person would disappear. This year is the first time 2 people have been found dead.
That may be true, but it's not that huge of a deal, is it?
It is, Kei-chan. Think about it harder. Listen. If 2 people died because of Oyoshiro-sama's curse, then in order to quell Oyoshiro-sama's anger, 2 people would need to be sacrificed.
Is that how it works? So what? Tomatake Flash and Takano died. So now 2 people are going to go missing this year? I don't understand why, but... when I said that, I felt my spine freeze.
I don't think anyone's been confirmed missing yet, but I think that those 2 people have yet to disappear.
Shion, like me, was obviously getting the same feeling crawling down her back. 2 people have yet to disappear? Shion didn't answer. I couldn't say any more than that either. A chill crept through my clothes and tried to warp its fists around my heart, cold hands feeling about on my chest. None of us could say anything. Tomatake Flash opened the lock and he died. Takano-san exposed the ritual storehouse, and she died. If 2 more people were to be sacrificed, then they would be none other than the ones who entered with them. None other than us. No. This got to be a joke. I wanted so much for her to pass this off as a joke even now. That, though, was such an incredibly difficult and selfish request. If Tomatake Flash and Takano-san had died in the common way like a car accident, I could tell myself it was coincidence. Instead, he clawed out his own throat, and she burned to death. What?
Spacebar?
Oh, thank you. Instead, she burned to death, drowned in oil, in the mountains. The 2 deaths were so out of the ordinary that I couldn't possibly dismiss it as mere coincidence. It was as if, in exchange for sneaking into the ritual storehouse, there must be someone punishing us, some sort of cruel will working behind the scenes. Even so, I still didn't want to accept that terrifying truth. If I did, then I would have to acknowledge that a horrible crisis was growing near for Shion and I. That's why I argued against it. I argued knowing I was running away. Yeah, Keiichi. In the first place, it's not even in the newspaper, is it? Such a monstrous incident would be all over the newspapers and televisions. Magazine writers would flood to the village too, thinking it'd make for an interesting story.
Of course it's not getting reported by the media. That's how it is, that's how it was in the past too.
When the incidents occurred for the 3rd year in a row, there was some third-rate magazines that sniffed out the story and ran issues full of gossip columns about Hinamizawa. Fearing that the region would develop a negative stigma, they negotiated with the prefecture and the police. Since last year, it became a big conspiracy where no information about the incidents was allowed to be leaked to the media.
I hear all the elders and the top brass from the Sonozaki family put all the pressure they could on the police.
Then you mean, their deaths are going to be dealt with in total secrecy?
That's how it is. Of course, the police are investigating it. That's being performed in secret, though, too. So I hear the investigation itself is very restricted in what it can and can't do. You could essentially say they're interfering with a police investigation.
The story was unbelievable. People died, and yet they don't publicize it and deal with everything in secret?
If we break it down further, it means that no matter who dies on the night of the Watanagashi, it won't go public.
That's the biggest pile of bullshit I've ever heard.
Keiichi, before I said how the villagers could be the ones carrying out Oyashiro-sama's curse. That's what I mean. At some point, a tradition was created here in Hinamizawa, where every year you're allowed to kill someone on the night of the Watanagashi, in the guise of it being Oyashiro-sama's curse.
When someone dies on the night of the Watanagashi, it turns into the curse of Oyashiro-sama. The curse turns into a serial murder incident. In order to avoid exasperating the negative stigma surrounding Hinamizawa, those incidents are dealt with in secret. That's insane! Dead and missing people turn up every year. However bad the stigma gets, the police have to draw the line somewhere, don't they?
You could say the incidents happening every year is mysterious, but the police can get the job done when they need to. After all, the incidents always get resolved individually. It doesn't end up being a string of incidents, you know? It just so happens that something unfortunate happens on the night of the Watanagashi every year. That's all it turns into.
I'm glad that was relatively right. Yeah. It's not it's technically a cover-up by the mob. It's not a cover-up by the village. I mean, the village is like the mob, so like, we could pretend that was right? Most of the criminals responsible for the original dismemberments were arrested. The last one managed to get and stay away, but the events were totally exposed and elucidated, so it was, in essence, resolved. The dam supporting couple who died in an accident on the second year, that was an accidental death, plain and simple. They made a lot of investigation into the possibility of it having been homicide, but they didn't turn up anything. It ended up as an accident. It was resolved. On the third year, the priest fell ill and passed away. There were doctors present at the hospital at his deathbed, and they had all trustworthy medical certificates. They even did an autopsy. It concluded that it wasn't a homicide. That was resolved too. On the fourth year, the sister-in-law of the dam-supporting couple was murdered. The criminal was an abnormal man with a history of regular psychostimulant usage. He confessed that he thought Oyashiro-sama's curse was so interesting he wanted to try it out. The criminal died of an accident while imprisoned, so that incident was essentially resolved as well. That's right. None of the incidents had any relation to another, and each was independently resolved. So then, why does an unfortunate coincidence occur every year on the... Oh, this is Shion, right?
I think so.
Or is that Keiichi? So then why does an unfortunate coincidence occur every year on the night of the Watanagashi? You can try and say it's a string of related incidents, but they're not related. Yet, every year, someone always dies and someone always disappears. The story Takano-san told me on the day before the setup, or the day during the setup. Now that the curse had occurred this year, I couldn't just laugh it off. Then, does that mean it'll come for us too? Just like how one person dies and one disappears every year? Are you saying that we'll be taken along with Tomotage Flash and Takano and erased too? My lips had, at some point, become completely dry, and just saying that was difficult. Shion didn't respond. Her silence, however, was the clearest form of confirmation she could give me. Sure, we went somewhere where we shouldn't have, but we were just looking, right? We didn't steal anything or take anything out, and we didn't tell anyone that we looked, right? I was already regretting having committed such a wrong. Even so, was it really so bad that Tomotage Flash and Takano deserve such cruel deaths? Besides, I didn't care about anything I saw in there at all. Takano-san was the one getting so happy over it, wasn't she? Takano-san was the one at fault. I don't have anything to do with this. I'm not interested. I'm not involved. I don't give a shit about what was in there. I knew saying so wouldn't solve anything. I could feel myself, my cold self in the innermost depths of my heart, disgusted at my pointless howlings. However, my emotions had broken through the dam, and I couldn't stop them anymore. I didn't have any interest in any of this from the start, damn it! All I wanted to do was watch Rika-chan's performance. You were the one who pulled me away from that, weren't you, Shion? I don't give a rat's ass whether those two were trying to steal something or trying to meet up secretly or whatever. That's right! You're the one who made me go in there in the first place, Shion! You were all, oh, Keiichi, you need to see what's inside. And you convinced me and then pulled me in. Why the hell did you do that? I didn't have anything to do with this. What will you do? What are you gonna do, damn it? How are you going to take responsibility for this, huh? Hey, are you listening? Gah.
Based Keiichi.
Click. Without any warning, the phone cut off with a soft sound of a receiver being slammed down. Shion was just as terrified as I was. I just said some really self-centered things. My riled up emotions disappeared as if they'd never existed, and in their place surged waves of deep regret at having run my mouth so irresponsibly.
I like how the second anything goes wrong, Keiichi, League of Legends, points at every single other person involved.
Yeah.
My man literally goes 0-35 in lane and then blames the guy that's 35 and 0.
Mm-hmm.
I love him.
I could try to call out Shion's name from beyond the disconnected phone, but it was already too late. What have I done? Shion was only trying to tell me as much as she could about this thing about to descend upon us. As for me, I could only whine like a child about it. I went to call her back, but then remembered she lived in Okinomiya. I didn't know her phone number. Since I had declared to Mion that I hadn't seen Shion last night, I couldn't just call Mion and ask her for Shion's phone number. I was too scared. I couldn't even call her back. I was stricken with hopeless regret. I returned to the receiver to its stand and simply prayed that Shion would call me back again. Please, Shion. Calm down and call me again. She needs to calm down. It's gonna be Mion. It's gonna be Mion. It's gonna be Mion. It's gonna be Mion. Hello, this is Mayabara. I swept up the receiver as I thought it wouldn't go through if I didn't grab it at that exact moment.
Is this the Mayabara residence? Excuse me for the late call. I'm Kimiyoshi.
Who?
Is this the head of the household?
Who is Kimiyoshi?
Keep reading.
Did you hear that rumble out there?
I did hear that rumble.
It was the voice of a middle-aged man. All my hopes rushed out at me. No, it isn't. If you need Dad, I'll go call him. I went to put the receiver back down, but the man stopped me hurriedly.
Oh, no. If he's busy, then it's fine. This may be a strange question, but is my old man playing you a visit?
No, nobody's here at the moment.
I see. Again, I apologize for calling you so late at night. Goodbye.
Clack. I don't know who that was, but if Shion tried to call while I was talking to him, I thought, bubbling with egotistic anger. Hey, wait. Give it a break, Keiichi Mayabara. These are the selfless emotions that made Shion mad at me, aren't they? The more I thought about it, the more I thought about that Shion had given up hope in a short time since we had our conversation and didn't want to call anymore. Calm yourself, Keiichi Mayabara. If Shion does call again, then first, apologize in a calm voice. If you do that, then Shion should understand. However, no matter how long I waited, the phone didn't ring again that night.
Am I stupid? Oh, the chapter was ending. I kept hitting space and I was like, am I just fucking dumb?
Yes.
So yeah, Wednesday.
Yeah, Wednesday.
And worst comes to worst, we do fucking Monday and I just push all my shit to Wednesday.
All right. We're on the scrapbook for 4, 5, 6. 6.
That's, yeah.
The significance of Watanagashi. Watanagashi, a festival of hunting for sacrifices and feasting on them. While the festival itself is remarkable, it has come to be... While the festival itself is remarkable, it has come to be considered a form of entertainment as well. Perhaps it was because of the disparity between being both an egregious act and a form of entertainment that the perpetrators began to believe themselves transcendent. However, I found some very interesting literature that appears to raise questions about that explanation. As with most oral traditions, it is not easily swallowed, but it does mention a few things that sparked my interest. According to this literature, even the residents of Onikafuchi village felt fear towards this ritual. Women and children would grow pale and tremble, and those of weak constitution would vomit. But it said that the feast, the dissection, was an obligatory viewing. This is an extremely curious tale. Until now, I hadn't thought of the residents of Onikafuchi. I thought the residents of Onikafuchi village were fascinated by the Watanagashi ritual. To look down on those vulgar, barbaric humans and cut them open like fish, and by eating them they reaffirm their own holiness. At least that's what I thought. However, if what the villagers gained from this ritual was not fascination, but fear, then that would suggest the ritual meant something entirely different. There's a possibility that the executions were meant as mournings, encouraging the villagers to strictly follow religious precepts created by those with power for their own convenience. Onikafuchi village has been effectively ruled over by three old families called the Three Families. Without investigating the three families, I probably wouldn't get any closer to the truth of Onikafuchi village. The Three Families.
So what happened to the other two families?
Scrapbook 7. So Three Families.
That's correct.
That's why I didn't say it.
That's crazy.
The Three Families refer to the three old families who effectively came to rule Onikafuchi village. To break it down, there was the Kimiyoshi family, the Furude family, and the Sonozaki family.
So that's Rika, Furude, and then Kimiyoshi is the guy that's helping Oishi, right?
That just called.
Oh, yeah, that called. That's right. Yeah.
And Kumagaya is Oishi's subordinate.
Kumagaya, okay.
To break it down, there was there was the Kimiyoshi family, the Furude family, and the Sonozaki family, and each of them still exists today. Though they don't have much control as they did in the remote past, they still hold considerable influence today. The three families are considered by legend, to be those whom the blood of the swamp demons runs the thickest. The Kimiyoshi family. The Kimiyoshi family appears to have held great power as the head of the three families, but it doesn't seem to have that kind of leadership today. The current mayor of the village, Yoshiichiro Kimiyoshi, is from this family. The fact that the members of the Kimiyoshi family are elected as mayor every generation is thought to be a remnant of the old system. Of course, as no rival candidates appear, it does not change the fact that the Kimiyoshi family holds the mayoral office even through popular elections in the post-war era. The Furude family. The center of the village's faith since ancient times, the Furude clan has guarded the sole shrine dedicated to Oyashiro-sama. They were worshipped as the only people to represent the voice of Oyashiro-sama for a long time. But the family branched off after the war and lost most of its power. It now consists of only the main house. The main house as well presently consists of only one daughter, Rika Furude, so the lineage may end in this generation. I wonder why she says that. There's apparently an old tradition of honoring females in the Furude family. Oh, because Rika would marry and then change her last name. Duh.
Yeah, that makes sense.
There's apparently an old tradition of honoring females of the Furude family, so the only daughter, Rika, is a subject of much respect among the elderly of the village. The Sonozaki family. It is said that this family has had a certain police-like role of protecting the religious precepts of Onikafuchi village. Of the three families, their relatively weak position can be seen from me putting them here last. Of course, today the Sonozaki family is flourishing, and the state of affairs among the three families has completely reversed. Even now, one could say that they are in control of Hinamizawa. The three families conferring with each other is similar to the old way. The current head of Sonozaki family, Oryo, essentially decides all of the goings-on in the village by herself.
That's grandma.
His grandma. That's Nana.
That's President Grandma.
Yeah. It's a late night phone call.
I hope it's me.
Hope it's you.
I hope it's me calling Oishi. Not me as in like someone I voiced, me as in actually me.
Excuse me for the late call. I'm Kimiyoshi. Is this the head of the household? Yes. No, not at all. Not at all. Thank you very much for that. Yes. Well, you see, I do apologize for calling at this hour, but I was wondering if our old man was visiting you at the moment. You've got that right. Yes. Once again, I'm very sorry for calling so late. Goodbye. Click. I don't know. Right?
So, no good?
I'm not sure what to do. He may be passionate about it, but he always at least gives us a call.
And you called everyone he plays Go with, didn't you?
Ring! Hello, this is Kimiyoshi.
This is...
No,
Is this a girl?
It's
Mion?
it's
Is this
Mion.
Shion?
It's Mion.
This is Sonozaki. How did it go? Have you found the mayor?
Oh, Mion-chan. I called everyone I could think of, but I came up with nothing.
Did
We
he
can't
get
find
demoned
him.
away?
What do I do? Where could he be idling about?
I put a word in with a bunch of people who might have an idea, but nobody did. I asked Nana about it, and she said we should get the men of the village together to search for him.
At this hour? I mean, it's not like he's definitely gone missing.
Watanagashi just happened. She thinks we should be a little bit more cautious. If we still can't find him, then we'll notify the police tomorrow morning. Whether or not we find him, though, we should refrain from making any false accusations.
Audio-san said that?
Yes. If you can't trust her without hearing her voice, then I can put her on for you.
No, that's fine. I understand. We'll get the men together and search. If we still can't find him, then we'll notify the police in the morning.
She'll leave it to you to organize the men. I'll be there as well, as Nana's representative.
Nana, just like normal English Nana.
Nana.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So thank you. I'll get everyone together immediately.
Thanks. I'll talk to you later.
Mion's evil as fuck. In both universes.
Yeah. The hell's going on, man?
A lot of shit's popping off.
A lot of shit's popping off. This chapter kind of grows on me the more I read it.
Yeah?
Because like the first, well, I had a very different mindset going into these games the first time I read this.
No, this chapter's good. I like this chapter.
All right. Any thoughts? Any feelings? Anything you want to communicate before we head out?
I'm just getting more progressively right as time goes on.
What are you right about now?
I'm just right about the fucking mob running this stupid little town and publicly executing people to keep the faith.
Mm-hmm.
That's a pretty cool dynamic, though.
Yeah?
Got like the 3 heads. The bishop head. That's just like a false king. Used to be rulers, but now are like false kings. And then the faith head. And then the muscle head.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because it's like these 2 fucking clowns have just been overruled by the muscle head because they actually know how to get shit done. Because their job has always been to get shit done.
Yeah.
And it's crazy how when you have an incredibly strong group of people that are your get shit done people, when you fuck up, you just kind of get brushed to the side when they realize they can get shit done without you.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just interested in like, I don't know. I still don't think it's a curse. I think that like in the Sonozaki family, there is a smaller sect and like secret organization in the Sonozaki family that does like all the demoning away and the Onikakushi stuff.
Remember what the
Yeah,
preface said?
they mentioned that in the first game, right?
Well, no, I'm saying like, remember what the preface said to this chapter?
That's very straightforward.
Very straightforward.
Yeah.
It's a direct attack instead of like
Some random
sneak
bullshit.
attack or something.
Yeah.
What do you think that means so far?
I assume we're getting to the direct attack.
Do you think so?
I also assume that the majority of the information given in this chapter is not. You have to go like, pull out the Charlie Day Pepe Silvia board and start drawing your fucking strings on your corkboard. Like, it's more just like, hey, here's the information. You go, thank you, Ryukishi. And then that's kind of about it.
Thank you, Dragon Knight 07.
But yeah, no, I really am liking. I like Watanagashi a lot better than the first one.
All right. Well, all right.
We'll see how that ends by the end of it, but I think I'll end up liking it more.
That's cool. That'd be a fairly unique opinion because, well, a lot of people you play the first chapter, like, oh, you get the slice of life and then you get to the horror. This one is like it takes a lot longer to get through the slice of life, so that kind of like puts a lot of people off to begin with.
Well, it's.
Because you're like, I want to get to the horror because that was the cool part.
Yeah. Well, like for the first game, replaying it, I was like, Jesus fucking Christ, I hate this game so much because we had already played through the Slice of Life shit, and I was just like, get me fucking through it. But for this one, now that I know the games are split up into Slice of Life horror, or at least I have the presumption that the games are split up into Slice of Life horror, it's a lot more enjoyable and easier to get through this one because I know that I'm gonna get a bunch of like kind of normal looking stuff that has a lot of sus as fuck background, and then I'm gonna get to the hard hitting stuff.
That's the thing like Ryukishi likes to do, especially with Higurashi, is he likes to contrast the warm with the cold and that kind of stuff. Like, get all the happy times and now you have the sad times.
Well, and I like how you finish the game with the sad times and then start the next game with the happy times.
Yeah.
So it's constantly alternating.
Alrighty.
Yeah, that'd be it.
That's it?
It's 2 thumbs up.
All right.
I like that chapter.
We'll be back in 3 days. 3 days.
3 days? Yeah, because today's Sunday, 3 days.
Alright. This will be the quickest
Turnaround.
turnaround.
Run back for
Yeah.
you've ever done.
We could, if we really wanted to marathon it, probably finish it Wednesday, but since we're doing it like this week, next week, we can do it. We can finish it the week after.
How many chapters will we have left after Wednesday? 2? 1 or 2?
So I'm thinking in days of in-game. And well, I'm not going to tell you how many days it is, but I feel like we can finish it before Awa.
Okay. Yeah, I figured we would. I'd be very surprised if we didn't. If you were saying that we read another chapter now and we can finish next week, like, yeah, I am expecting us to finish Watanagashi
Right.
before
The
that.
last week will be a little long because obviously it's the end, plus the tabs and in the epilogue and all that stuff, and then the all cast review session.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be like maybe an hour or two longer than normal, but yeah.
Okay.
And then after that, Tatari Galoshi. That one's my favorite one. So.
Oh God.
Oh,
Is that who's the main character of that one?
it's all Keiichi. It's still Keiichi. Keiichi doesn't.
Well, yeah, I mean the first game was
Oh.
like Rena, the second game was Mion. Is it Rat?
It's the rat.
Are you telling me I get to read Rat voice?
Rat voice makes Rat gets a huge comeback, and she's great. I love her. She's my. I fucking love these two, man. These two are like.
Rika scares me. I know I say it every time, but Rika scares me. Rat does not scare me. Rika scares me.
Nipa.